What if we told you that one of Africa's smallest nations managed to accomplish what some of the world's most developed economies struggle with? Burkina Faso, under the remarkable leadership of President Ibrahim Traoré, has wiped out a colossal $4.79 billion in national debt without taking a cent of Western aid. Yes, you heard that right. No loans, no strings, and no compromises. For years, many thought financial independence for African nations was a distant dream. Yet Traoré didn't just imagine it. He made it a reality. The question is, how did he do it? What strategies did he employ to turn a country often overshadowed by its wealthier neighbors into a beacon of self-reliance? This is not just Burkina Faso's story, it's Africa's story, and it demands to be told. Here, we would like to take a moment and thank you for supporting us and being a valued part of our strong community. And if you are not yet a member, we encourage you to join us and help build an even stronger community together. Let's get started. Ibrahim Traoré is not your typical leader. While many leaders are content with maintaining the status quo, Traoré thrives on challenging it. When he assumed office, Burkina Faso was in dire straits. Decades of economic mismanagement had left the nation drowning in debt, with its resources exploited and its sovereignty compromised. The people were disillusioned, and hope was a scarce commodity. For most, the logical solution would have been to seek more loans from international institutions or foreign powers. After all, this has been the traditional route for nations in similar predicaments. But Traoré took a different approach, a bolder one. He believed that Burkina Faso had everything it needed to stand on its own. The key was unlocking its potential and rallying the people to believe in a shared vision of self-reliance. Traoré's approach wasn't just revolutionary, it was risky. By rejecting the safety net of foreign aid, he opened Burkina Faso to significant economic challenges. But he also set the stage for a remarkable transformation, one that would not only pay off the nation's debt, but also reshape its future. This audacity to challenge deeply entrenched systems is what makes Traoré's story so compelling. But to truly appreciate the magnitude of his achievement, we need to delve into the specifics of Burkina Faso's transformation. When Traoré took the reins of Burkina Faso, the numbers painted a bleak picture. The nation owed $4.79 billion, an astronomical figure for a country with limited economic infrastructure. But Traoré saw these numbers not as insurmountable obstacles, but as challenges that could be tackled with the right strategy.
L'armée ira où elle doit aller pour sécuriser nos richesses, puisque c'est de ça qu'il s'agit. Nous sommes victimes de nos richesses. Ces richesses que les impérialistes veulent, coûte que coûte, reprendre en main et nous maintenir dans notre esclavage. Nous allons les sécuriser, parce que le Burkina Faso n'abandonnera jamais. Le Burkina Faso n'abdiquera jamais. Le Burkina Faso va combattre. Nous sommes un peuple fier, combattant, guerrier et digne. Et nous continuerons dans ce sens. Tous ceux qui rêvent de voir le Burkina Faso à genoux pour espérer nous ramener dans l'esclavage doivent comprendre qu'ils ont échoué. Parce que ceux qui ont risqué leur vie hier nous ont instruits de continuer le combat jusqu'à notre liberté totale et notre indépendance. Que Dieu fasse en sorte que l'année 2025 soit l'année de notre victoire finale sur l'ennemi. Merci à tous. La patrie ou la mort, nous vaincrons.
One of his first steps was to identify where the nation's wealth was leaking. Burkina Faso is rich in natural resources, particularly gold, yet little of this wealth remains within its borders. For years, foreign corporations dominated the mining sector, extracting vast riches while paying minimal taxes or royalties. Traoré's administration took a hard stance against these exploitative practices, renegotiating contracts to ensure a fairer share of profits for Burkina Faso. He also cracked down on illegal mining operations, which had siphoned off millions of dollars in revenue. We will talk about all the strategies later in the video as well. But financial reform wasn't limited to resource management. Traoré's government also prioritized fiscal discipline. Wasteful spending was curbed, and government resources were redirected toward critical areas like debt repayment and infrastructure development. This wasn't about austerity. It was about ensuring that every dollar spent had a purpose. What made Traoré's approach truly transformative, however, was his ability to engage the people. Instead of presenting debt repayment as a government task, he framed it as a national mission. This sense of shared responsibility became a driving force behind Burkina Faso's financial turnaround. But the question remained, why was paying off the debt so important? Here's a reminder to please like and share the video and subscribe to our channel to watch more videos on Black culture, history, civilization, and identity. Let's continue now. Debt for nations like Burkina Faso is more than just numbers on a balance sheet. It is a mechanism of control. For decades, Burkina Faso, like many African nations, was ensnared in the web of dependency spun by international financial institutions. These loans often came with a catch: structural adjustment programs that dictated how a country could spend its money, prioritize its industries, and even manage its resources. The conditions were designed not to empower but to ensure repayment, creating a system where foreign interests were prioritized over local needs. Take, for instance, the agricultural sector, a lifeline for much of Burkina Faso's population. Structural adjustment programs often demanded the liberalization of markets, which meant slashing subsidies for local farmers to make way for foreign agricultural products. While this might have made Burkina Faso's markets more competitive in theory, in practice, it flooded the local economy with cheap imports, devastating domestic production. Farmers struggled to sell their crops, food security declined, and the nation became increasingly dependent on external sources for its survival. This wasn't just an economic issue, it was a loss of sovereignty. Traoré understood this dynamic well. To him, debt wasn't merely a financial burden, it was a symbol of external domination. Every dollar owed to foreign creditors represented another dollar that couldn't be invested in building schools, hospitals, or infrastructure. Worse, every policy dictated by creditors eroded Burkina Faso's ability to govern itself. This loss of autonomy wasn't just abstract, it had very real consequences for the lives of ordinary people. For Traoré, paying off the debt wasn't just about balancing budgets. It was about breaking free from a system that had kept Burkina Faso and other African nations locked in cycles of poverty and dependence. This was as much a political act as it was an economic one. By eliminating the debt, Burkina Faso could finally make decisions that prioritized the needs of its citizens rather than meeting the expectations of foreign institutions. Moreover, the psychological impact of debt cannot be understated. For years, debt had been a source of national shame. It perpetuated the narrative that Burkina Faso, and by extension Africa, could not succeed without the intervention of wealthier, more developed nations. By erasing this debt, Traoré restored not just economic sovereignty, but also national pride. It sent a powerful message to the world. Burkina Faso was no longer a nation begging for help. It was a nation standing tall, ready to determine its destiny. This act of financial liberation also opened the door for broader reforms. With the debt gone, Burkina Faso could redirect resources toward domestic priorities. It could invest in education, ensuring that future generations have the tools to innovate and lead. It could improve healthcare, extending the reach of critical services to underserved regions. It could build infrastructure, connect communities, and enable commerce. In short, paying off the debt was a means to an end, the end of external control and the beginning of self-determination. But perhaps the most revolutionary aspect of Traoré's decision was its implications for Africa as a whole. In a continent where many nations face similar challenges, Burkina Faso's success became a symbol of what's possible. It challenged the narrative that debt is an inescapable reality for developing nations. It inspired other leaders to consider bold alternatives to dependency, proving that financial freedom isn't just a lofty ideal. It's a tangible goal, achievable with the right vision and leadership. But what magic did Traoré do to pay off this debt? Paying off $4.79 billion in national debt without Western aid was no small feat, and Ibrahim Traoré's approach was both strategic and revolutionary. His success lay in a combination of leveraging Burkina Faso's natural resources, implementing disciplined economic policies, diversifying income streams, and fostering a sense of unity among his people. Every step was carefully crafted to achieve the ultimate goal of financial independence while ensuring the country could sustain itself long-term. Burkina Faso's gold reserves were central to Traoré's strategy. As one of Africa's top gold producers, the country had immense untapped potential in its mining sector. However, foreign corporations had long dominated the industry, extracting vast amounts of wealth, while leaving Burkina Faso with minimal benefits. To reclaim this wealth, Traoré renegotiated existing contracts with foreign mining companies. His administration demanded a greater share of profits for the state, arguing that the current agreements were exploitative and unfairly benefited multinational corporations. Traoré made it clear that if these companies wanted to continue operating in Burkina Faso, they needed to respect its sovereignty. His strong stance was backed by public support, which gave his administration leverage during negotiations. Illegal mining, which had flourished due to weak enforcement, was also addressed. Traoré implemented measures to formalize these operations, requiring miners to register and pay taxes. This crackdown not only brought in additional revenue, but also improved working conditions and reduced environmental damage caused by unregulated activities.
We are 100 meters underground in the tunnels of the Bagassi gold mine, one of 8 in Burkina Faso, and operated by Canadian company Rox Gold. Its goal is to mine 3 tons of gold every year for 10 years. Gold has become Burkina Faso's key export product, accounting for a high percentage of the country's total export revenues. Mining revenues amounted to the equivalent of 255 million euros in 2015.
To ensure inclusivity, Traoré promoted local participation in the mining sector. Small-scale miners were empowered through training programs and access to modern equipment, enabling them to increase productivity and contribute to the nation's economy. The revenue generated from these efforts was directly funneled into debt repayment, turning Burkina Faso's gold reserves into a tool for financial liberation. But Traoré understood that repaying billions of dollars in debt required more than just increased revenue. It required smarter spending. His administration launched a comprehensive review of government expenditures, identifying areas where money was being wasted or misused. Extravagant spending on luxury items, unnecessary international travel, and bloated administrative budgets were among the first targets. Ministries were asked to justify their budgets and eliminate non-essential expenses. This austerity wasn't about punishing citizens, but about ensuring that every franc spent was directed toward the nation's most pressing needs, including debt repayment. Public sector wages, which accounted for a significant portion of government spending, were also reformed. Traoré's administration introduced measures to prevent overpayment and ensure that salaries were distributed fairly and transparently. Corruption, long a drain on the nation's finances, was tackled through stricter oversight and the establishment of anti-corruption bodies. Officials found guilty of misusing public funds were held accountable, sending a clear message that the era of impunity was over. Relying solely on gold wasn't enough to sustain Burkina Faso's long-term financial goals. Traoré knew that the country needed to diversify its economy to create multiple revenue streams and reduce its vulnerability to fluctuations in gold prices. Traoré's administration invested heavily in modernizing agriculture, which employs a significant portion of the population. Farmers were provided with access to improved seeds, fertilizers, and irrigation systems, enabling them to increase yields. Training programs were launched to teach sustainable farming practices, ensuring that the agricultural boom wouldn't come at the expense of the environment. As production increased, Burkina Faso began exporting surplus crops, generating much-needed foreign exchange. Traoré capitalized on Burkina Faso's abundant sunlight by investing in solar energy. Large-scale solar farms were constructed, reducing the country's reliance on imported fuels and cutting energy costs. The excess energy produced was exported to neighboring countries, creating another revenue stream to support debt repayment. Local entrepreneurs and small businesses were key to Traoré's economic strategy. Microloans and grants were made available to startups, encouraging innovation and job creation. These businesses contributed to the economy through taxes and exports, further boosting the nation's income. But Traoré didn't just rely on the government to pay off the debt, he made it a national effort. His administration launched campaigns to educate citizens about the importance of debt repayment and how it would benefit the country in the long run. These campaigns fostered a sense of shared responsibility and inspired people to contribute. Community-based savings initiatives were established, particularly in rural areas. These cooperatives allowed citizens to pool their resources and invest in local projects, such as schools or healthcare centers, which freed up government funds for debt repayment.
Before I didn't sell much to the village. Now it's a lot.
You became a little rich or very rich?
A bit.
Burkina Faso wants to raise the country's prosperity level. The government's economic and social development plan aims for 8% growth every year until 2020.
Traoré introduced a domestic bond program, encouraging wealthy Burkinabe and local businesses to invest in their country's future. These bonds provided the government with immediate funds to pay off creditors while offering investors a return on their money. While Traoré rejected traditional Western aid, he didn't isolate Burkina Faso from the global community. Instead, he sought partnerships that respected the nation's sovereignty and aligned with its goals. Burkina Faso strengthened its trade ties with neighboring countries, boosting exports of agricultural products and manufactured goods. These agreements not only increased revenue but also reduced reliance on distant markets. Traoré collaborated with nations and organizations willing to invest in infrastructure and resource development without imposing exploitative conditions. Partnerships with countries like China focused on mutually beneficial projects, such as road construction and industrial development, that contributed to economic growth. One of the cornerstones of Traoré's strategy was transparency. The government provided regular updates on the nation's progress in paying off its debt, detailing how funds were being allocated. This openness built trust among citizens and ensured that everyone understood the significance of their contributions. Independent audits were conducted to track the flow of money, and any misuse of public funds was swiftly addressed. By fostering a culture of accountability, Traoré not only ensured the efficient use of resources but also strengthened the bond between the government and its people. Through these steps, Traoré managed to pay off Burkina Faso's debt while laying the foundation for a more resilient and self-reliant economy. His approach wasn't just about numbers, it was about transforming the way the nation operated, from resource management to governance. By reclaiming sovereignty over its wealth, fostering unity, and prioritizing long-term growth, Burkina Faso became a shining example of what determined leadership and collective effort can achieve. Now the question is, what does this mean for the whole of Africa? Burkina Faso's success under Ibrahim Traoré didn't just change the trajectory of one nation. It sent shockwaves across Africa. For years, the continent has grappled with the challenges of dependency, resource exploitation, and underdevelopment. Traoré's leadership demonstrated that these challenges, while daunting, are not insurmountable. One of the most significant lessons from Burkina Faso's journey is the importance of resource control. Africa is rich in natural resources, yet much of its wealth has been extracted by foreign corporations, leaving little behind for local populations. Traoré's decision to renegotiate mining contracts and ensure that a larger share of profits remained within Burkina Faso set a powerful precedent. It showed that African nations could take control of their resources and use them to benefit their people. Another key lesson is the role of leadership. Traoré's ability to inspire trust, foster unity, and make difficult decisions was instrumental in Burkina Faso's success. His emphasis on transparency and accountability strengthened the bond between the government and the people, creating a sense of shared purpose that drove the nation forward. This model of leadership is one that other African nations can adopt, tailoring it to their unique circumstances. Burkina Faso's transformation also challenged the narrative of perpetual dependency. For years, Africa has been portrayed as a continent reliant on aid and unable to stand on its own. Traoré's success shattered this stereotype, proving that self-reliance is not just a dream, but an achievable reality. The ripple effects of Burkina Faso's success are already being felt. Across Africa, leaders, activists, and citizens are engaging in conversations about sovereignty, resource management, and economic independence. Traoré's story has become a beacon of hope, inspiring a new generation of Africans to believe in their potential and fight for their futures. Traoré's journey was anything but easy. his bold vision for Burkina Faso faced opposition at every turn, both domestically and internationally. Critics argued that his focus on debt repayment and self-reliance would lead to economic instability and social unrest. International actors, wary of losing influence, applied pressure to derail his efforts. But Traoré remained resolute, driven by an unshakable belief in his vision. One of the biggest challenges was addressing skepticism within the nation. Many Burkinabés were initially wary of his ambitious plans, fearing that the sacrifices required to achieve financial independence would outweigh the benefits. To build trust, Traoré prioritized transparency, regularly updating the public on the government's progress and engaging with communities to address their concerns. This openness helped rally support and fostered a sense of unity. Internationally, Traoré faced resistance from powerful entities with vested interests in Burkina Faso's resources. Mining corporations, accustomed to exploiting the nation's wealth with minimal oversight, pushed back against his reforms. Western institutions, unhappy with his rejection of aid, warned of dire consequences. Yet, Traoré stood firm, refusing to compromise his principles. Despite these challenges, Traoré's determination never wavered. He worked tirelessly to navigate the obstacles in his path, finding innovative solutions to complex problems. His resilience, combined with the unwavering support of the Burkinabé people, ensured that his vision became a reality. As Burkina Faso moves forward, Ibrahim Traoré's legacy will continue to inspire. His leadership has redefined what it means to be an independent African nation, proving that financial sovereignty is not just an ideal, it's an achievable goal. Traoré's success is more than just a national triumph. It's a beacon of hope for the entire continent. His vision wasn't just about paying off debt, it was about empowering people, protecting resources, and laying the foundation for a brighter future. Under his leadership, Burkina Faso became a symbol of resilience, determination, and possibility. His journey serves as a reminder that even the smallest nations can achieve greatness when they dare to dream big. Traoré's legacy is far from over. The foundations he has laid will continue to shape Burkina Faso for generations to come. And as Africa looks to the future, his story will remain a powerful testament to what can be achieved when vision, unity, and action come together. Do you think Africa needs more leaders like Traor? Can the whole of Africa be debt-free? Let us know in the comments section how long it will take Africa to be debt-free. Do you want to watch more videos like this one? If so, subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon next to it. We have decided to bring videos on something nobody talks about: the Black culture, civilization, history, and evidence about how glorious Blacks have been. Thanks for watching, and until the next video, stay tuned.